Hey guys, and welcome back to A&J Education YouTube channel. In today's video, we're talking about how to select your 5 UCAS university choices. So if you're planning your university list and you're not sure what to do, keep watching. Hey, all right guys, so I'm very fortunate to have my colleague Cora here with us today. Hi Cora.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, yourself?
I'm good.
Great. Well, Cora, let's dive straight into it. So first of all, what makes you qualified to talk about how to select the 5 UCAS choices?
Well, I guess I just went through the process myself. I'm in my 3rd year now at the London School of Economics. I'm studying geography. And I studied actually in the Philippines, my high school. So it was quite an unfamiliar process to me. So I had to become very aware of how to go about it, like what choice to make out of 5, having only 5 options. So it was a process that was quite difficult for me to first wrap my head around.
Cool. All right. So how do you go around it? So, do you just all go LSE, Oxford, Cambridge, UCL, Imperial, or, how do you put forward that list?
Well, I think it's really important to start out with having a range of universities. That's the main advice that I always got, was to have first to reach university. So for that, I picked Oxford, having something that you theoretically might be able to get, but was definitely like not too certain, but something you might have really wanted. So that could be like your first option.
So something you're literally reaching for.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But also it's important to say it shouldn't be completely unattainable, but definitely something you're reaching towards. Then having maybe another option that was slightly more attainable, and then having 2 or 3 options sort of in the middle that you think you're most likely to be able to get, but you still would be pursuing and reaching as well. And then finally, what's sort of considered the safety university, something you're like almost 90% sure you're going to get. So that would be your 5th and final option.
Got it. So it's, in America, it's, often called, it sounds like what you're describing is the reach university, then the match, that match sort of your profile that you should get into. And then the safety is where you're, very certain that you're going to be getting into.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's almost like you spread your eggs in different baskets.
Exactly. I think that's very important. Rather than just going for 5 reach universities or 5 safety universities, spread out your choices and make it very dependent on what your expected grades are going to be and match it to that.
Okay. And, some students would say, well, I don't want to study at X university, so, I should only go for the for the top ones, for the reach ones or the match ones, no safeties. What are the risks associated with that strategy?
I think it can be quite risky because if you don't end up getting your matches or your reaches, say you don't perform as well in your exams as you'd expected to, then you end up not getting into a university at all, perhaps. And that can really sort of maybe set you off track when you want to pursue a university degree straight after your high school. So I think it is quite a risky thing. There's always the option to apply through clearing in the UK, of course, but it's still, if it's always good to go into your exams knowing that you have the sort of safety option that you can fall back on.
Cool. No, that's really interesting. And what happens? So do you just look at the grades, or how do you know which one is a match and which one is a safety, which one is reach?
I mean, the grades are, of course, a good place to start, but it's also really important to consider what sort of university life you want. So, for example, in the UK, I think it's important to consider whether you want to be on a campus in the countryside, or whether you want to be in a city. So personally, at the time when I was applying, I didn't really consider this at all, but I'm now very grateful that I ended up picking to be in a city. I don't think I would have been very happy in like a campus university. So I think that's also an important thing to consider. Looking also at the other sort of aspects of student life. If you're able to, visiting the university for open days or just looking around is very, very useful to really consider and narrow down your options. So I think it does go beyond grades to what your overall university experience would be like.
Cool. And guys, of course, if you're not able to visit the university in person, that's fine, because now so many virtual days are online, open days, so much stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, money, time, or distance shouldn't really be a barrier to you doing your research.
Definitely.
Cool. And Cora, just in your particular example, if you don't mind sharing it, so which were the 5 universities you applied to?
Now I'll have to think back. So my first option was Oxford, which I then did not get into, which was my Reach University. Then LSE was sort of my second Reach, I guess, and that's where I'm now going to. Then I think King's was my next university, King's College London.
Like a match.
Exactly. Edinburgh was also another one of my matches, and then finally was Exeter was my safety.
So which ones of those 5 you got?
I got into King's, LSE, and Exeter, and I actually withdrew my application from Edinburgh when I got LSE, so I never found out whether I would have gotten in. Okay. Left me hanging there.
Okay, fair enough. But, we'll say you would have,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, great. And Cora, just as we, wrapping up this video, so if I understood you correctly, really important to do your research, spread your bets, not just focus on, just one sort of group of universities. Can you just quickly talk to us about clearing and adjustment? So, clearing, which is when you don't get any offers, how it works and what happens then?
Yeah, so clearing happens once you actually get your IB exam grades, and it gives you the option to go through the sort of application process again and apply for another university that might match what grades you actually got a little bit better. So this can, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but clearing applies to if your grades if you aren't able to reach your offers, while adjustment applies to if your grades actually end up being higher than what was expected, and then you can apply for a better university.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, it's also something to look into if you end up with completely different grades to what you expected to get from your exams.
And guys, also, just to reiterate the point that we make in pretty much every single video, the relationship with your referee is so important, and they're human beings with biases, just like all of us here have. So, they have their wife or husband problems, money problems, health problems, children problems, plus then they have 100 students. So you're definitely not even number 17 on their priority list, or even number 49. You're probably way down the priority list. So it's important to invest in that relationship, so they're more likely to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you higher predicted grades. Obviously, there is no point if you're a B student, getting A stars, but if you're kind of on the borderline and you have a good relationship, they're more likely to not give you stronger predicted grades that will then allow you to, get into better universities. And then, of course, you've got the time to actually fix it in your A levels and do well. Cool. Cora, final top 3 tips for students creating a list of universities. What would they be?
So I would say, again, spread out your choices. Go for a reach and a safety and a match. I would say look beyond grades, look at what you actually want out of your university experience, and really get involved in the process of picking universities. Don't just look at one list of top universities and go down that list. Actually look into the university, what they have to offer, and sort of all the other opportunities that come with university life.
Great. Cora, on behalf of us all, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And have a good weekend. Cheers.